For this Loaf cat tutorial, you will need a lighter, a stitch marker is handy, scissors, your polyfill, row counter, I use this fidget toy. For your jumbo yarn, probably a full skein, this is about half, so about 32 yards of your main color. I'm going to be using this black to supplement, so I'll be doing all the accent parts of the ears, the paws, and the tail in the black to help complement and just have enough yarn. So you can do that, or you can do it all in one color, and then I also have in the description how you can alternate and make the striped cat. I also do have a little bit of white. If I run out during the body, I'll just add in, it's kind of an off-white, it does match. Now the eyes, you can either just use white and black yarn, I'll show you how to tie that onto a stitch, or if you want to, Cozy Cloud Knits has a really good embroidered eye, so you would use blanket yarn, which is a little bit thinner, white, black, and then a color. I would use green, and then embroidering the nose, this pink. And you could also use whiskers, and you can use the black blanket yarn again to do the whiskers. I also forgot to mention that a tapestry needle or a long needle is also handy if you're doing the embroidery. Starting with our main color, we're going to create a chain, but we're going to do a slip knot first. So in order to create a slip knot, you're going to leave a long tail, about 8 to 12 inches, whatever you need to close, and create a slip knot. Take the working yarn over the tail side and then pull up a loop. And you can adjust the size of this loop by pulling on the working yarn and tighten the knot by pulling on the tail. I like these to be a nice tight 2 finger widths. We're going to be chaining on a total of 11. And that first slip knot counts as 1. So that is our chain. If you want to knit in a counterclockwise direction, you're going to be creating a circle by taking this yarn tail and putting it up towards the top of this last loop in the second last chain. You're just going to feed it down through and pull it into a circle. If you want to knit in the clockwise direction, you're going to go to that second last chain and into the bottom under that loop. And now you're going to have to adjust this first loop of your circle, making it 1 finger's width and making it so the working yarn is coming, so it's going to work well in that clockwise direction. I'm also going to pull the tail out of the way. So now I'm going to pull up in these spaces loops. So I should be pulling up 9 more so that I've finished. I have a total of 10. So there we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's going to count as our first round. Now we're going to just keep knitting around those 10, and we'll have a total of 14. I'm going to use my stitch marker on the first loop of each round to keep track. That's how I like to do it. If you just like to do the total number of loops, 14 times 10, you're knitting 140. I'm just going to get some slack. If I'm going too fast for you, please, you can go into your settings and adjust the speed, and you can slow it down. So that's 4 down. I have 10 more to go. I'm going to pause this. You can pause this video, do your 10, and we'll meet back. So this is what it looks like after we've done our 14 rounds. I probably would have enough to do all the accents with this, but just so you can see how I'm doing the accents better, I am still going to use the black. So you want to cut a fairly long tail, again, at least 12 inches for closing this top end. We're just going to leave that for now, and we're going to go to this bottom end. And because we knit in a clockwise direction, we're going to close in counterclockwise direction. And you're just going to take this yarn tail and go from inside to outside these chain spaces all the way around. And then pull tight. Now take your tail, go into the center, come back out, and then you've created this loop, and you're just going to go through that loop and pull your yarn tail, and do that at least twice. Oops. Go into the center, come back out, try doing the same spot, and then take your tail and tuck it away into the center. Now we're going to stuff it full of polyfill. If you have a problem stuffing and your loops pull out, you can weave this from the inside to the outside of the loops before you stuff it. I'm going to try to stuff it and then I will do that. So go and stuff it and we'll meet back. So I have partially stuffed it, and now I'm going to weave from the inside to the outside. Oops, don't pull the loop. But I'm not pulling it tight yet because I'm going to add some more stuffing. Okay, so shape your body a bit the way you want. Make sure there's not too many big gaps. A little bit more on the top there. And then you're just going to pull that tight. And again, go from the inside to outside of this circle, make a loop, tighten, and then do it again. So this is the face of the cat, and this is the face, and this is the bum. So now let's do the feet. So you want them fairly close to the front and you want them fairly close to the back, and all it is pulling up loops in a square and then knitting through those. So you can landmark them ahead of a time with yarn or your stitch markers. So I'm going to come back here. I'm going to pull up a loop towards the front like that. Then I'm going to go and pull out from, this is the middle, out for one there, and then one there, and last one there. So making sure they're all about the same size, you haven't pulled any to be smaller. Now take your tail and tie it to your working yarn twice, and then you can just tuck that tail in and away, and then go ahead and knit through those 4 loops. Cut a long enough tail, and then you're going to take this tail and go from inside to outside. And pull tight. Now take this tail and try to find There it is, the middle. And then go down into the paw. And then you want to anchor it either on a body stitch or a paw stitch. Twice again. And then I just stuff it into the body usually, if I can, but it's hidden away. So there's one paw. And then I would probably just leave this stitch to, and then I'm going to start right here with the other one. So I'll show you this one and then leave you to do the back ones exactly the same. You can even just turn this around and do it exactly the same on the back. Tie. Stuff that in and knit. Cut a decent sized tail again. And then I'm anchoring it into the body stitch. Just make sure you remember which is the front and which is the back. Oh, I went into that one. Oh, that's okay though. There's enough space in between. So then flip it around, do the same for the feet here, and then we'll meet back and we'll do the ears, tail, and face. So here are our 4 feet. If they line up on the same tracks and the same distance apart, then it makes for a nice sturdy base. Okay, so the ears, stay. The ears are really simple again. Just find where you want to put them. Make sure they're going to be even. Yeah, I think that's good. So I'm going to mark that one. That was that one. Okay, and so you're going to pull up loops towards you. And this is going to be the top part of the ear. That might be too much space in between. It's going to be that one. Yep. You're going to pull up 3 loops. Then you're going to knit through 1 and decrease right over left, and then decrease left over right. And now I've got 1 loop left, so I'm going to cut a decent sized yarn tail again. And I'm going to pull it through that last one, and then I'm going to go down towards the middle. And just go back and forth through those stitches into the body. Now take this other one, and I'm going to wrap it around as well. And then I'm actually even going to wrap it around the stitch closest there, just to anchor them. Tie it tight. and then check it out. If you're feeling like they're not a good shape or in the wrong position, move them, redo it. Okay, so this is where I think it should be. Two, three. Knit one right over left, and then left over right. So I did them the exact same. If you wanted to do them opposite, so start with left over right and then do right over left, I don't think it's a huge difference. And then again, just weave it down. If you pull too hard on the ear, you are going to change the shape of it. It might get less pointy. You might curl it in. You might want that. And now I'm going to go around. This guy, I'm actually not even going to bother going around that same one. I'm just going to go around a different stitch that's really close. This guy. There. And it just anchors it. Double tie. Really hope I got this in the right spot. They look a little far apart. You guys can't tell until I do this. Oh, I know. It's fine. So there's the ears. Now I'm just going to do the tail. So turning it around. It's the same concept as the feet. So figure out which is your middle and how far back you want the tail. And then, okay, let's start with it towards me. And then we'll go in a clockwise direction. So towards me, and then up the side, and then the top, and then there. Tie. Ooh, that's a very long tail. Tail, stick it in, and then you're just going to keep knitting these for a total of 8. So that was your first one. This is your second one. So 8 times 4, 32 loops if you want that way. So I'm just gonna, you can pause, finish those up, and we'll meet back. So this is how it's looking at the end. You can add more, less, whatever. Cut your yarn tail again. I'm gonna add, not a lot, but just a little bit of polyfill on the very end. So it does keep it a little bit fluffier. When we close it, if you want a skinny tail, it will be skinnier if you don't stuff it. Whichever you want to do. And then again, just going into the middle. Out. Go through that loop. And then just stuff it on away. And then you can again just try to shape your tail. So there's the tail. So the face, if you want to just do simple, you could take chunky black, find where you want the eyes, there. And then I'm just going to take it and I'm going to go and wrap it around those stitches. And then tie the ends together twice. Not super tight because you want to be able to manipulate it on that stitch. So that would be a plain black eye, and then you do the same thing over here. You can add white accent. This probably won't show up that great because of the white on the body. So for the accent though, I do less. I just go around and then I'm going to just tie it. I'm not wrapping it this time. Then I'm going to tuck that away. And if you had a different color cat, you probably could see it. A little bit better. And then if you wanted to go one up from this one, but not do the full embroidered eyes, you can use your blanket yarn and your needle. I do have plastic bent ones too, but these were the only ones I could find today. So I'd come in from way far out, go in where the white and the black are coming out, and then I would go out one stitch from those. And then probably just do that like once or twice. So it kind of, again, if I had a different colored cat, you might see it gives it a little bit more character. But I'm going to be doing the embroidered eyes, but I'm going to be doing it in fast motion because this is not a tutorial for that. That is Cozy Cloud Knit's tutorial. So I will just super speed it through and show you what it looks like when it's done. But these are definitely an option. And then the nose and the whiskers are done the same way. So you could use chunky yarn in pink, or if you want to embroider, you just use your needle and you're just going to go back and forth, however thick you want it to be. So, but I'll show you with the chunky yarn how easy it is. So here is my piece. Pink. Find where you want the nose. And I'm going to just do what I did with the eyes. I'm going to go through and I'm going to go through again. And then tie these two together. You can also, if you have not used your lighter yet, you could also burn these together. If you were doing a striped cat, you'd be using your lighter to join different colors. And then just turn in the knot and then adjust these. You could do a little mouth, the embroidery down, or add in the whiskers. Again, this one might not show the whiskers very well. It's just like what I just showed you with the pink nose. Grab your needle. That's chunky. There we go. Come in from somewhere where you're not going to come out for the whisker spot, and then go in. Get some slack. And then this one, because it's the bottom whisker, you want it pointed downwards. And then come in pretty close to that same spot. And then go out. This one's going to go middle because it's the middle whisker. Back in. You could also use a spot of and then go up to the top one, and then I'm going to go back down where the original one I went in. These guys you might need to play with, move them around. Whiskers are hard, and you'll usually get them on one side, and then the other side to make even is impossible. But just remember, this is a handmade item, and that's what makes it unique. And even cats in real life don't have whiskers that are symmetrical. And then just tuck that away. So that's how I would do the whiskers. Do that side. Same. Might have come in closer to the nose, but again, you can always undo it and redo it. So I'm going to hyper speed the eyes, and then I'll show you the finished product. I also want to let you know that this is a pretty big cat. If you ever wanted to make a smaller version of this, just make it smaller. So your beginning chain, maybe start with 9 and do a round of 8, and instead of doing 14 rows, do 12 rows. Or if do a beginning chain of 7 and do a circle of 6, and then only do like 10 rows, and that would be a smaller cat. And then instead, for the feet on the smaller ones, instead of doing 2 rounds, just do 1 round and then close it off, and it will give you these dainty little feet. The ears will be pretty similar to most of them.